Cold water, a ceiling of ice. No horizon, no stars, no sky. Just a nuclear submarine sliding through a black tunnel that never ends. In the summer of 1958, USS Nautilus, SSN 571, set out to do what no ship had ever done: reach the North Pole from below. The world was in a new kind of race. Sputnik had beeped across the heavens the year before, and superpowers were measuring prestige in feats of science. The United States chose a message the Soviets couldn't miss: our submarines can go anywhere, even under the Arctic. The mission got a code name with a wink of optimism: Operation Sunshine. Nautilus was the right boat for an impossible job. She was the world's first nuclear-powered submarine, able to remain submerged for weeks, not hours. No need to snorkel, no need to surface if she could find a path under the ice. That "if" was terrifying. The Arctic's ice canopy isn't flat. It's a mountain range turned upside down, with pressure ridges plunging like frozen knives into the sea. Get pinned beneath one and there's no quick escape. To survive, Nautilus carried new tools and new minds. Upward-looking sonar mapped the underside of the ice. Fathometers scraped the bottom with sound. An early inertial navigation system kept track when radio fixes vanished. Ice scientists briefed the crew on where leads might open and where ridges might choke a passage. And every sailor learned the one rule under the pack: don't lose the deep water. Nautilus slipped from Pearl Harbor in late July 1958, aiming for the narrow Bering Strait. Once inside the Arctic basin, the crew sealed themselves into a world without daylight. The boat ran quiet and steady, a metal arrow gliding between seabed and ice roof. The captain, William R. Anderson, kept her speed up. Hesitation could mean drifting under a dead end with no room to turn. Life on board felt normal and not at all normal. The watchbill rotated. The galley served meals, the reactor hummed. But every bulkhead knew where they were. The ocean pressed from below, the ice pressed from above, and the instruments were the only windows that mattered. Sometimes the ceiling rose and the sonarmen breathed easier. Sometimes ridges crowded close and conversation dropped to a whisper. Crossing the Arctic wasn't a straight line. It was a chess game with nature. The boat angled around underwater obstacles, hunted for deep lanes, and trusted the math of the inertial platform. They could not surface to check their position. The canopy was too thick. Dead reckoning had to be good enough. On August 3, 1958, the plot on the chart reached a single point: 90° north. There was no fanfare, no sunlight pouring through the ice, just a voice on the intercom, and a message tapped out to the world: Nautilus 90 north. For the first time in history, a ship had reached the pole from the underside of the planet. But the mission wasn't over. Nautilus still had to get out. The boat pressed on beneath the Greenland side, finally finding water where the ice thinned enough to break free. She surfaced, antennas up, and the crew tasted air that didn't come from scrubbers. They had traveled nearly 2,000 miles under pack ice, proving a route that planners had only imagined. The impact rippled far beyond the sail and steel of one submarine. Strategically, the voyage said the quiet part aloud: nuclear submarines can approach through the Arctic unseen, and they can do it on purpose. Politically, it restored pride in a season when headlines had favored Moscow. For the sailors, it was something simpler: a test of seamanship passed under the harshest conditions the ocean can provide. Back home, the welcome felt like sunlight after weeks of night. Nautilus and her crew received a Presidential Unit citation. Captain Anderson got a ticker tape parade. School children learned the name of a sea they'd never seen, and a boat that had sailed it from the wrong direction. A year later, another nuclear sub, USS Skate, would even surface at the pole, parking in a rare thin spot amid the floes. The Arctic, once a blank, had become a highway. What made it possible wasn't just the reactor. It was systems thinking, stacking small advantages until the impossible bent. Nuclear power for endurance, inertial navigation for confidence, under-ice sonar for the ceiling, fathometers for the floor, and a crew trained to trust instruments more than instinct. Take anyone away and the story turns back at the ice edge. There were close calls Nautilus never told loudly, stretches where the gap between keel and ice narrowed to a number no submariner likes. Moments when a wrong turn might have ended the voyage in a thicket of pressure ridges. The Arctic respects nerve but rewards preparation. Nautilus had both. Today, the phrase "under ice ops" sounds routine in naval briefings. It wasn't in 1958. It became so because a first crew carried their boat where charts ended.